Hey everybody, it's Mr. Gallegos here. How you guys doing? Hope everybody is healthy and doing well. Um, I've got a video for you guys today with some tips for staying focused, engaged, and organized during Delta High School's school closure. Um, just a quick personal update. My family and I are doing pretty well. It's hard, it's stressful. My wife is working a lot. She's a nurse, and I'm spending a lot of time with my son, which is great. Does make teaching also pretty difficult. And I understand a lot of you guys have different things going on in your lives right now. And this is designed to help. A lot of students have been expressing difficulty at the struggles they're having during distance learning, mostly about staying motivated, about keeping focused, and time management. It's difficult for me, you know. I sometimes am recording a lecture and my son starts, wakes up from his nap and starts crying in the middle. So I get it and I'm trying to help. Uh, this video should be used as a tool for students. Also, parents can use it as well to collaborate together. Um, these are just suggestions, guys. This is just some advice. It should be modified or applied to best reflect your own personal situation. So let's get into it. All right, here are your tips for staying focused, engaged, and organized during Delta High School's closure. I'm Mr. Gallegos, video production. So let's begin with getting started and staying motivated. I want you guys to know that now more than ever before, your education and your future is in your control. Students, you're doing this on your own. You don't have your teachers kind of hanging out right above you, breathing down your neck, saying, get this done, get this taken care of, get your pencil out, get your planner out. It's your control now. But know that the skills and the work habits that you develop right now will benefit you for the rest of your life. This is really important. After this strange circumstance where we're all working from home, be sure that more and more schools and jobs will continue to use distance learning or distance working. My friends who work in the tech industry were already seeing this phenomenon happen. And there's a lot of universities that do online classes. And I can guarantee you, by the time you guys go to college, that will be an even larger part of major universities. Also, remember, there's a good chance that this is not going to be the only time your life is interrupted by a major catastrophe, unfortunately. It may not be something to this grand of a scale or a worldwide impact, but natural disasters occur or other stressful things happen. So learning how to cope and work during this time will help you for the rest of your life. So I think it's smart that you set some accomplishable goals for each week and then make sure you share them with somebody else. Your goal should be reasonable. Don't say, hey, I'm going to finish all my work for all my classes by Tuesday morning. Also, when you share a goal with somebody, it becomes real. And you also have someone to help hold you accountable. Now, I know students, a lot of us don't like mom or dad hanging out over us and you said you were going to get your math homework done. Did you get your math homework done? But you need that help. You need that structure. Also, it could be a sibling. You could also share your goals with a classmate. You could text a friend. And I really want to encourage everybody to try SMART goals when you're doing some goal setting. I've mentioned these in a lot of my classes in the past, and I've got a quick little bit on the next slide to show you. So SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So specific, what is it that you specifically want to do? Not get my work done, but get X amount of work done. When will you know you've reached that goal? So it should be measurable. I think a great way to start is focus on the time you're spending working. I want to work for 2 hours today. Then when that 2 hours is up, you've reached that goal. It should be accomplishable and achievable. Make sure that this is something that you can do within your own power. Is it realistic? If you are a student that hasn't started working at all yet on distance learning, it's not realistic that you're going to finish everything and be caught up by the end of the week. Be realistic. It will help you achieve those goals, and then you can set a new goal afterwards. And then timely. When do you want to accomplish this goal by? I think it'd be great to set goals for each week. Let's move into time management. I recommend setting aside a specific block of work time each day. So focus on what you can control. What you can control here, guys, is the amount of time you work. You can't always control how much you get completed, but you can control the amount of time you set aside to get your work done. I also think you should use your planner, a phone calendar, a to-do list, or other time management strategy. You guys have a lot going on, and not a whole lot of people are there and interacting with you to remind you about it. So you've got to be organized, figure out what works best for you. Now, this is kind of something for those of us who have not been actively engaged yet in distance learning. I think you should start small. So my idea is that you should add up all the personal time you have each day. For example, the amount of time you spend on social media, streaming TV, texting or FaceTiming your friends, drawing, kicking the soccer ball around the yard outside, whatever. Do a rough count, add it all up. Then divide that time by 4 and commit working that much each day. I think 25% is a starting point. You will likely want to increase that time as you go, but I think it's a good starting point. It is, going back to those SMART goals, it's measurable and it's achievable. It's realistic. This is probably not enough time to complete everything that you have to get done, but it's a starting point. So let's take a look at the next slide. So, for example, if you spend 2 hours a day, 120 minutes watching Netflix, 60 minutes a day on social media, 30 minutes a day drawing, and 60 minutes a day goofing around, just hanging out, doing nothing, bugging your mom while she's cooking, I don't know. That adds up to 270 minutes of personal time. That's a lot of time each day that you're spending on yourself. If you divide that by 4, that's 67 and a half minutes of work time, slightly over an hour. You may want to round it up. Again, very likely you're not going to get all of your classwork done in that time. But if you haven't been working or you haven't been working on a regular schedule, it's a good start. And then you can always ramp it up each week. Add an extra 15 minutes a week. Also, set up specific times for breaks and lunch. I've had students report that they get really bored and they're going to go off and they'll go to the kitchen and they'll get a snack every 10 minutes because they're bored and they're hungry teenagers. I've also had students tell me that they're working so hard they forget to eat. Your nutrition is important. Also, a lot of us get distracted and want that like phone time. Set yourself up some specific break times in your work time. It doesn't count for that 2 hours. Let's say if you want to work for 2 hours, maybe you block off 3 hours, 2 15-minute breaks, and a 30-minute lunch. You can use a kitchen timer or a countdown function on the website www.online-stopwatch.com. Something like that so that you've got that timer set and it will let you know when you are ready to go. The bells or alarms can give you structure just like you have at school. So staying focused. Put that phone away. If possible, keep your phone put up, put it on a shelf, put it in another room during your work time. I know some of you guys are doing your work on your phone, so then you're just going to have to commit to not getting distracted and hopping on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is that you're on. Stick to using your phone for pleasure during those scheduled breaks. Also, it can help if you let the other people at your house know you're working before you start. If you got a younger sibling or your mom is in the other room and they interrupt you and you're like, I'm working. That doesn't help. Let them know ahead of time so that should cut down on the number of interruptions you have. And then if they're going to come in and interrupt you, it's probably going to be more important if you let them know you're working ahead of time. I find for staying focused, it's really helpful if you can find a neat and quiet place to work, whether that's your bedroom, a spare bedroom, it could be out in the backyard on patio furniture, wherever it is. And then I would say have something that relaxes you in your work area. Maybe you could play some instrumental music. Maybe if you're got a nice window with a good view, you could look out of that. So when you're stuck on homework or trying to like work through a math problem, take a look outside and just kind of calm down for a second. Something I did the other day was I put a live stream of the Monterey Bay Aquarium's jellyfish tank, and I just had it on the background of my computer. So when I was like stuck on an idea, I could go back and look at that, and it kind of just calmed me down. You can have a house plant or like a small toy or fidget, something that when you get stuck, instead of going straight to your phone where you might burn 15 minutes of time just scrolling through nothing, something that you can play with for a minute or two and then get back to work. And something really important here, guys, is right now you're going to have to adjust your expectations. This is not normal. You should not expect what you produce to be your normal quality. If you're not satisfied with the level of work you're making right now, don't stress. It's okay. You're not getting the same level of instruction from us, so your output will not be the same. Be proud that you've persevered and that you're doing the work despite everything else going on around you. And I would say recognize that it is often hard to complete this work on your own. For most teachers right now, what we really want to see more than anything, effort and engagement. That's what we're looking for. Remember, it's hard for us to see who's struggling right now. In the classroom, we can pick up on those signals pretty easily. We're good at that. But this way, it's really hard. So you have to reach out and ask us for help. When you're doing that, if you're shooting us an email or getting on Zoom or something like that, make sure you're as specific as possible. Don't just say, I don't get the homework. That's really hard for us to explain all of that during an email. Explain what parts of the homework you don't get or what part of the assignment you don't understand. Make sure you've gone back and read the instructions a couple of times before reaching out to us. That way, that'll help you get that specific question so we can give you guys specific help. I know that during the day while you're working at home, unexpected disruptions may happen. And don't get upset or stressed out or angry when that occurs. You know, I've been recording a lecture and my son wakes up from his nap and I can hear him crying and it is probably audible on the lecture. I can't control that. Focus on what you guys can control, which is mostly going to be your effort and your level of engagement. I hope you guys found those pointers and tips to be useful and helpful. So far, I'm really proud of all the work that I'm seeing and how much you guys are trying. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me as your teacher. Remember, this is going to be one of the most impactful and important events in your entire life. So think about it. How do you want to remember it? How do you want to remember what you did and what you accomplished during this incredibly difficult time? Make sure you're reaching out and communicating with people. Say hi to a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. Shoot a teacher or an administrator or a counselor, somebody important in your life. Shoot them an email. Just say, hey, thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. And I want you guys to know, I can't wait to see you all back in my classroom in the fall. Seniors, I'm sorry I had to end this way. This is weird. I do hope you guys all make it back to campus at some point so that we can just catch up. Take care. Be safe. Wash your hands, all that. Bye.